Mm. All right, guys, I am back. I think we got it going. Man, of course, the morning I'm busy. We have a lot of things going this weekend. I got a problem with the mic. I didn't even notice it when I was setting things up this morning. I'm sorry if you got on the other channel and were like, what's going on? Hopefully you've looked over and see that there's a try number 2 and that I have the microphone working this morning. Good morning, everyone. It is great to talk to you this morning. It is Wednesday, May 27th. I was not on the air yesterday or Monday. Monday was a choice, and then we had a family issue. I want you to say some prayers for my brother-in-law, Johnny, who's in the hospital. He had a deer slash into a motorcycle, and we were up there yesterday in northern Indiana. So say some prayers for my brother-in-law Johnny, one of my favorite peeps in the world. Love talking with him. Love talking with his brother Kenny, and of course that's my wife's brothers. And it was a scary situation. It seems like everything is in a positive mode. It's going to be a long road to recovery. And if you guys could say some prayers for Johnny, that would be great. I'll probably be going back and forth up there once in a while. We'll see how it goes as things come and as we get more information each day. But it can happen in a blink of an eye, just like that. Very experienced rider. That is his second deer. The other one, he came out a lot better than what happened with this one. So some prayers for Johnny, if you could, please. Thank you. All right, let's get into the weather. Feels like about a week, doesn't it? Feels like a week it's been out here. So let's take a look at what's going on right now. Under some cloudy skies and a little bit of light rain falling around the area currently. We're starting to see some really good warm weather in the Lafayette region. And today, after the rains, the temperature will just go up. Isn't that cool, man? That's cool. All right, that's my cool man. Look, if I was a beach guy out in California, cool dude, like, hey, rockin', we're rockin'. We're rocking. All right, 69 out there right now. Winds out of the northeast, about 3 miles an hour. So very light. They were light yesterday. Very comfortable feeling in the afternoon and into the evening yesterday. Hopefully you were able to get out and about. As we got home yesterday, it was just nice to see everybody and see some nice weather. So we'll move on through the week this week, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice week ahead. This was our only shot for rain, and it's raining right now, and it's not very heavy, that's for sure. And then the rest of the week, remember, said it's going to be hot. Now you notice here the numbers have backed down a little bit, right? Which happens at times. The farther out our forecast we see it, the more changes could happen to it, right? So I think we were seeing low 80s just about for everybody during the week this week. And we hit 80 yesterday, 84 today, roughly. This is the computer numbers, 81 tomorrow, 79 Friday. And Saturday and Sunday look beautylicious with temperatures right at the averages for this time of year, which should be somewhere around 78 and 56 by the end of the month. There you go. So, and you got a 79 one day and a 50s in the mornings. I think we all like that. 56 Monday morning, at least by these numbers. Let's go take a look at some of it. Let's jump into the radar first and the satellite picture. Here's your latest satellite picture, everybody. We can see that there are some clouds that are over the state of Indiana, mostly north of the I-70 corridor, right through the central portion of the state. And we'll be seeing these clouds here moving and passing through pretty quickly this morning. And most of the rains will be over the next couple of hours, the very light rain. Then the rest of the state looks very quiet. As we can see, the low pressure system, there's one. It's got the cold front extending down along the Carolinas. Doesn't look like there's a lot with the cold front there. There's not a lot with the system here. There are no real chances for thunderstorms today in this mix of what we have. Yes, you could see or hear a bump of thunder here or there, but no severe thunderstorms of any type, and really your chances of thunder are very limited too. Then we got a pretty good system starting to brew down in Texas. I'm interested to see what those maps look like since I haven't seen anything for a few days. All right, so that's where the big picture of everything is. West Coast looks great, right? Out there, we used to call it May gray, June gloom, right? Well, here we are right at the end of May, and if you could see here, hopefully you can see on your chart, there's all these low gray clouds into the basin around Los Angeles, all the way down to San Diego, all the way down the coast of Mexico, and up a lot of the coast of California itself. And you just get into the systems where it just pumps in low clouds. Matter of fact, there's some kind of low pressure system in northern Indiana. Maybe they could get some rain out of that in some parts there. They can always use the rain in the mountains in California. But let's take a look and zoom in a little closer here, see what we've got in the state of Indiana. And there's your cloud cover, everybody, with Lafayette being right about there. You can see it's kind of dissipating. At the same time, it's trying to move off towards the east, all right? So I don't want to get stuck in that voice. I'll never get out of it, right? So there we go. Everything's trying to move to the east. You kind of see the flow there. We can see how the colors to the north are brighter, right? Or that dark, deep, blackish color coming out there. That is clear skies, right? And then this gloomy, kind of grayish down to the south is the clouds that we'll be getting into. So the question is, where is the line of demarcation going to be after this rain comes through? Will the weather to the north come down and we'll get the clear skies, or will we be kind of in some of the gloominess for a little while? Well, with the temperature looking to be about 84 for a high, I'm going to have to think we're going to get into some of this sunshine as the afternoon goes on. All right, let's lay over your radar over that so you can see how the state of Indiana looks right now, everybody. Lafayette right here, right under your latest light rain showers moving through the area. You can see moving towards the east pretty easily here, but they do extend all the way into Illinois. You can see that we're eroding on the northern side of this. Let's go in even closer, all right, to the localized. See what we can see here. There's Lafayette. You can see it pretty easily now. Some of your thickest rains have already come through and have started to fall apart. That was maybe your chance of some thunder or lightning. Looks like down towards Crawfordsville, it's kind of quiet. Southern Tippecanoe County and the northern portions north of Crawfordsville of which county is that south of us? That's not White County. Which one is it? All right, it's not on the top of my head right now, but maybe some of you could tell me about that. You probably will, so. But I know Crawfordsville's down here, right? And it does look like there's some rain still out towards Attica. And then some of this is still moving towards like Kokomo, Grissom Air Reserve Base. You can see some of the rain over there towards central Indiana, north central Indiana, and north central eastern Indiana. How's that? We are north central western Indiana. There's too many letters, right? We can't go with that. We're Lafayette. We're the Lafayette side of Indiana, everybody. So where everybody thinks there's only corn that's over here, that's it. None of them can see the valley that runs through with a river in it or any of that kind of stuff. It's just corn. That's all we have here. All right, done for the day. No. No. All right, so the radar's starting to clear here pretty quick. It'll be interesting to see how this falls apart here in the next hour or two, which is exactly what it looks like it's doing. And sure enough, when we switch over to the models, here's what we get here. This is 10 o'clock. Let's go back 1 hour. There's 9. You can see it's nailing it pretty good. 10, 11, 12, right there is Lafayette clearing at 12 o'clock. By that, it says most of the rain's pretty much gone. But you out towards the east of us, out towards Kokomo, Grissom, some of the areas, Rushville, that kind of stuff. You'll be hanging on to the rain a little bit longer over towards our east as we get rid of it by roughly noon to 1. And you can see it kind of clears out pretty quickly. And I can see because the trend changed. Let me see if I can get the show brush out on here. So I'm going to go back a couple shots to where the rain has begun, right? And watch what direction we have here. We have a movement to the east, right? And then watch these last couple shots. We have a movement to the south more, right? You see that? All right, so now everything's going this way, right? And then up here it's going a little easterly. When we were at the beginning of that, everything is moving like this, moving to the east, all right? So that helps me think that the drier spot to the north is going to get into us this afternoon pretty easily. And it looks like the model's thinking that same thing, right? That's just on a close base, close base on that when you look at it. When I look at the satellite pictures and I just look at everything, I go, well, it looks like we're going to get into that clearing pretty easily. Doesn't take a rocket scientist for that one, okay? So no rain the rest of the day. Now, that's the 11Z. All right. How much of the 12Z do we have? And it's not even started running yet. All right. So the 06Z, we go back so we can see 48 hours. Showed some rain on us by still hanging on there at 12Z. And then it goes, let's see, 14Z is 10 o'clock. You notice it's starting to come off of us by that point. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock's clearing, 12. Still some, just a little sliver of stuff in the southern portion of the county, if this thing is pretty accurate. Either way, it's clearing off as the afternoon goes, right? As we get into the afternoon hours, here it is, 9:20. By noon or so, you should be looking pretty good, and then starting to see some clear skies. This is 48 hours out, and I noticed no rain. Here we are. Now we are Thursday morning, 19Z, right? That is 2 o'clock. Or 3 o'clock. Let me get my times right here. 18. There's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Look, everything's good. Nothing. No rain. No rain in the picture. Should be some pretty good weather after this clears out. We should be looking pretty nice. Let's see what some of the other things we can see on here. I want to see a cloud cover. There we go. Average cloud cover. So there we are this afternoon, right? So here's kind of where we are now. We're right here. This is 10 o'clock. You can see there's a gap to the north. There's some high clouds up here that we couldn't even really see. That's really open as it is right now, what we saw on the satellite, right? Let's go back that one picture. Okay, the radar showed this area right here to the north of us open, clear, right? But this is not saying it should be overcast in there. So let's move it to the south and assume that we are not going to fill in the clouds in that area, that we will see some clouds from the north up here. But still mainly some sun, and you can see it breaking apart as it gets towards Lafayette. Shows broken skies, but I think we're going to be scattered to broken. How's that? That's still good weather. And then it definitely goes scattered to clear by this evening, okay? So here we are into the evening hours. This is 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock this evening, just a little strip of some cirrus coming through, a few clouds here or there. Looks like any ball game should be good this afternoon into this evening, no problems. Very nice weather. Look at this. Oh, man, overnight, clear skies. That'll make it a little cooler in the morning tomorrow morning. Then we become overcast. By mid-morning tomorrow morning, we start to get clouds from the west, but they fall apart pretty quickly too, as there's just no distinct systems out there at all, right? Let's change this to the big picture real quick and take a look at that precip real fast and see if there's anything around us. Look at this. Yeah, nothing during that time frame. You see that? Look at that. The big high that we talked about, and we talked about this high last week, was going to be to our north, and it's not showing up on here, but you can see the flow around it like this, right? You can see the flow around it just like that. The high is up here. It's farther just up off the chart up there, all right? And and it's keeping all this rain and everything at bay. So stuff gets into it and it falls apart. Watch how the rain reacts as it gets up there towards St. Louis. See how that? It's just falling apart. The low pressure system's spinning there, but it can't get its heels into us right now. So we're gonna have to see what happens with this. So and then the high, actually, you start to see positioning of the high maybe right in here. By Friday morning, you'll be able to see that, or Thursday. So this high is pretty strong. We knew it was going to be strong last week. It was going to hold everything off, and it looks like it's doing that. And this is kind of like some of your most perfect weather. Your flow is still coming out of the east, which is not a cold flow like out of the north, right? But there's no warm weather out to our east and to our northeast. So it's just pulling in comfortable weather. And then when the skies open up, you're going to have some nice sunshine, and the sun will absolutely add to that right away. But it's not been a rainy month at all. As a matter of fact, we've been down in tornadoes. We've been down in different things. I got this shot right here. Let me show you guys this before we go any farther. This is May tornadoes. This comes from the Weather Authority. Got to make sure you can see their stuff. Only 6 tornadoes generally in the month of May for the state of Indiana. And we have had a whopping 0 so far this month. And everybody is down. The weather has been calmer, quieter. For severe weather. For the entire month of May, we're down. And for the entire season, we are down in tornadoes. And if you go back and look at it for 20 years, and what they'll do is they'll go put the averages for the entire time, which is higher. And then the last 20 years, you look at it, 15 of them have been below normal for tornadoes. 15 probably. Only 4 or 5 have been at or above normal for tornadoes. So they talk about climate change giving us all this terrible stuff, yet tornadoes are down. You go back and look at the hurricane seasons, you're going to find out that the strikes on the United States are down and the average number of hurricanes is down, even though they go and they start looking for little small lows to count as hurricanes so they can keep their numbers up compared to what they used to do 40, 60 years ago when they didn't have satellites, that kind of thing. So it was tougher to keep numbers back then. I think if you thought that there were the number of hurricanes was 12 in 1920, the reality was it was 18 because you couldn't see 6 of them because they were out in the middle of the ocean. That's the kind of reality of what's going on with that time frame. All right, so let's continue on here. So we've got the May tornadoes. Oh, he had another good chart up there. I think it showed the numbers. There we go. For the entire country, normally around 269, and then you notice it starts dropping off. June's still pretty active, very active at 229. April's a little less. We're starting to go up into the peak of May. Now we're dropping off from the peak, and it's going to be very limited. Very good shots there off of Facebook from the authority. And go check them out if you get a chance. All right, so here we go. Surface temperatures. This is what we've got today. Let's see what we've got here. Let's look at the big picture first with that high to our north trying to set up and with rain all over us. And you notice right now here through about noon, it's still got us at 70. That is Lafayette right there, that little 70. So it does various stations around, and it happens to be Lafayette is one of them that it puts on there. It does Indianapolis. I think it's supposed to be South Bend, but that's actually in the Plymouth area. That's Fort Wayne. Then you're down to Bloomington, of course, and Louisville, that kind of thing. That's what you can see in the state. But 70, it says, by noon. And then watch what's going to happen. Boom, boom. Look at it. See the pocket? Remember I told you where the clear skies were, right? Look at that. Right there they are. All right, they're opening there. So as these clouds try to exit and the rain exits, this will slowly move its way down. Not because the flow is coming this way, right? Or it's even quiet. It's hard to tell where it's going in here. Different directions, different speeds on the lower variety for your speeds. But your pocket of warmth is knocked down because we can't get to the sunshine. There's 2 o'clock, then 3 o'clock, then 4 o'clock. You can see that we get to about that 80 mark. Now, if you are north of town, it looks like you're going to get really, really warm with this, right? We can see that the pocket of clouds is still hanging on. And the open skies are right here, so we're going to see lots of heating. As a matter of fact, the heating, look at this, all the way up into Minnesota. Are those 90s I see on there? Yes, 90s for the Twin Cities area. Why would you want to live in the Twin Cities area? I'm just asking. It's minus 40 up there during the winter, right? And then they'll see highs of 90 to 100. Here we are in May going into June and July. Sometimes they're way, way warmer than we are. We're a comfortable 80 degrees for our highs today, everybody. So there you go. Let's go in closer so we can see the numbers a little easier. There you go. It looks like it wants to peak at 81, give or take a number. And I would go for that, I think. I think there's a good, strong chance we get into a little bit more sun there. But our flow is either from the south, and this is very light. But you can kind of see where the flow is kind of like this, in this way. And then here, it's so light, there's nothing moving around. It's all going to be dictated by how much clouds clear off, all right, during that time frame. And it still shows most of the clouds kind of trying to linger in the state of Indiana as the day goes on. This is 6 o'clock this evening, and then 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So it does push us to 81, but look at this. Rensselaer, 88, 89 degrees up there. Woo! So you can see the potential of what could happen to us. Got 90s in the central portion of the state of Illinois right in there, right? You got an 88 showing up in Rensselaer. Does it actually touch 89? No, it just sticks at 88 right there. So 90 is a possibility here north of town, anywhere from Monticello over to Rensselaer and then back over to Plymouth and that area, South Winnemac. That's where you're looking at that. Some very, very warm weather there. And it's just that's an ideal shot where you can see where clouds are and you can see where clouds are not based on that pretty easily because there's not much flow moving temperatures around today on this chart. And then let's see what happens overnight. Overnight, we drop down. Looks like we're going to be around 58 or so right there. A light breeze, but now we're starting to enforce our northeasterly wind from the high to the north, which is up off the chart that direction, right? And it's going to start to enforce that a little bit. So our temperature tomorrow morning will be a little chilly, around 58, but that is above normal for this time of the year. Not bad, huh? Remember, 58 is the low it says tomorrow. This is at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, but the average low for this time of the year is 55 right now. So 3 degrees above normal still. And then tomorrow, very nice rebound. Open skies, we talked about that, right? But we have the northeast wind from the high to our north up here off the chart. This northeast wind is trying to come in. Look at how it knocks down these 90s. Still a pocket of 90s because there's still a very big pocket of warm air down here, right? But it's starting to slowly be affected and eroded too. And then sometimes, every once in a while, it's going to bust its way through. Look at this. Shows 83 in Lafayette tomorrow afternoon, right? So what did this thing say? This thing says 84 today, 81 tomorrow, right? So that's what it's saying tomorrow. But when you look at the actual numbers, it's flip-flopped. It says today only 80 and tomorrow 83, 84, somewhere in there. So hence the reason, look at charts, right? But this tells me open skies right in here, maybe some clouds to this side of it, and to this side, no clouds or very little. Probably very little everywhere tomorrow, right, in the entire region. But the northeast wind is fighting. It's fighting. It's trying to come around. It's trying to give us this stuff. Yet some of it's still able to trickle in and get to us. All right, so the state of Indiana will be mixed. The west side will see 80s. The east side will see 70s. And the north side up towards Michigan, more of the same, 70s for your highs tomorrow. And then we bottom out the next morning, getting down to around 60 degrees. That's at 2 in the morning, so that's where the model stops. All right, let's tag the NAM nest in real quick here, see what it does. It's showing 60 Thursday. Let's see, what is today again? Wednesday? Thursday morning. This will be Friday morning now, so it shows us dropping all the way to 53 Friday morning, which would be right on the money for the average. We'd be 53 to 54, 54, 55s. So we're pretty close again on that day. And then what does it warm us up? Do we have enough on this model for that? We get into the 70s. No, it's only 2 o'clock, so we're going to get warmer than that. But what does it say for today and tomorrow? So tomorrow it shows 80, 81, right? And then what does it show today? It's more optimistic that we're going to get warmer. So that's what you're seeing on the run, right? What you're seeing on the run, you go back and you look at the MSN chart, it shows the warmer today and a little cooler tomorrow. And now you know why, because when you go and look at the shots from the NAM nest, it shows a warmer day for us tomorrow. But it doesn't show as warm, right, north of us and that kind of thing. And we're just starting to pick up the northerly flow on this one. You can still see it being today. It's trying to get down here, but not quite making it. And then tomorrow, it's saying, and you can almost see it. Watch up here in this spot right here. Watch how the cold air advances and then retreats itself back as the day goes on. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. It just looks like it's marching on us, right? Here it comes. There's the morning, and then boom, the warmth tries to move back to the north, but it's retarded against this right here. And the retarded name, not as you know what it means. It means rebuffed. It means stopped. It means that it's not working, right? So it tries to move itself back the other direction, all right? So there we go. All right, and we move through that, and we go back with our temperatures. Let's take a look real quick on the NAM and see what it said for moisture, huh? Let's see what it's saying for our winter precipitation mode here today. See how it clears it out. Okay, so it's got rain, and it clears it out by noon, kind of. I guess you could draw a line around it like that, and it's just touching Lafayette, right? That line is, with Lafayette being right there, okay? So it's just touching us at the 8 o'clock hour this morning, then by 9, 10. So it's not got the rain real perfect. It's there, but it's not perfect. It clears it out, says it should be gone already, and it has not. So that's what you're seeing on that. And then, of course, it looks nice too. And then we see a mixture of just nothing. And the rain stays at bay, back off towards the southwest. Nothing in our midst will be seen from that. But what about the GFS? The GFS, the long-range model. What does it say for the rain? And look at this. It's got the high farther south. right? We see the charts, those other charts with the HER and the NAM had the high farther up over Lake Huron or even, Lake Superior, and then kind of shifting down this angle. It's got the high right. Look at this. This high's right here on Friday. That's where it is. It's in control. It's big and broad and in control right there. There it is. So it's got a big picture, big swath. Look how it just keeps the rain. It's the same thing. I'm advancing through Friday and Saturday, and this stuff is trying to move up here, but that high is in control for a couple of days. So let's go back again and look at it real quick. So here it is today, moving the rain out, right? Boom, gone, out of the picture. There we are for Thursday, looking really good. We got all this rain down here, over here, the Ozarks, southwest Missouri, western and eastern Kansas are different. Western Kansas is dry, eastern Kansas is wet, but there's all this rain is over here. And you can draw a line almost like there, and it just can't get past that spot, can it? It tries, it moves a little bit, and then it dies away. Here we are Saturday, looking good Saturday. Sunday, we're moving towards Sunday now. Here we are, Sunday morning, heading to church. Gorgeous, big old high right here. Big blue high, big blue sky. Yes, there it is. It's going to be on pace right there. Then we're going out, and now we're to Monday. Here's some scattered rain possibly on Monday. And I'm getting a little giddy about the scattered rain. Why? Because we will have not seen any rain for a week at this point, almost. Here it is Wednesday. It's very light rain, right? We haven't seen any for a couple of days. So we've had very limited rain all the way out through next Monday before we get another good chance of rain. We need the rain for the crops. We definitely need the rain for the crops. And we are far below normal for this time of the year already. We're in a dry, and we've been in a dry area for about 5 years, it seems like. That's just my rough estimate of keeping an eye on it. Nothing scientific there. And you've probably noticed too. All right, so here's another high building in for next week. All right, this is a different one coming in from Canada, cuts in across, and look at it, just controls the entire region. Nothing. You got very little clouds, so there's none of these little things here in the sky. It looks like Virginia, but it's kind of a cloud look, all right? You got no thunderstorms. Thunderstorms look like this, right? And then you got the lightning coming down out of it, right? That's your thunderstorm. And there's just no light rain. And then the light rain looks kind of like this, right? And then they've got these little streaks that come down out of them. All right, so those are what the symbols look like and the way we see it. There's just nothing there. There's just nothing there. Here we are, 21Z on Wednesday, and there's just no rain in the picture there next week. The high is still in control. Here I am out to Friday. There we go. So there's a slight chance on Monday of some scattered stuff. On Friday, it's not much better at all. Some scattered light rains in there. And then it's quiet again. And it's just one of those periods that we are not going to see rain, not enough of it, until finally some kind of low pressure system comes up on June 11th and comes up towards us. Thursday, June 11th, 2 weeks from now, before it actually moves some kind of good, decent-looking system into us for some rain. And even that's not good. Let's go to just before that. Let's hit precipitation and the amounts. Where's it at? Total precipitation. This is the total precipitation it says we're going to get for 2 weeks. That is 1/4 of an inch of rain. There's a little strip in the center where there's a little bit more because they get rain today. And it hangs a little longer, right? Look at that. There's plenty of rain out here to the southwest of us in Missouri, and even here, I'll bet their numbers for this time frame are more like 3 to 4 inches, not 1 to 2 inches, which you see in most areas here on this picture. So, and then there's just a big green open area where there's no rain hardly at all. Very much something we'll have to be worried about. And I say worried, I mean we think about the rain and the farmers first, right? Let's see if that last front does anything. There you go. You get over 1/2 inch with that one. But that is Friday, the 12th of June. That is 2.5 weeks away, as you know as well as I do, and I tell you all the time, we look for trends. The trends throughout the long-range forecast is dry. So I don't know how much of this we'll actually get, and we won't 2.5 weeks from now. But, man, it's definitely something to watch. All through the Midwest, all through the Great Lakes, pretty dry for about 2.5 weeks. And that means temperatures are probably going to be pretty good, too. So let's take a – and what I mean by pretty good is anytime the sky opens up like this and there's no rain and the ground is very dry, it gets warm. all right? So let's see what we have for surface temperatures. Like this week should be probably at normal. Last week we were below normal, right? Most of the month of May we've been at or below normal. So keep an eye on this, what we're going to see for temperatures here. All right, so here we are Friday. We're trying to see what the high is going to be on Friday, right? We know today and tomorrow. The high Friday, it shows... You notice it only shows upper 70s, right? So let's say 80 again, right? We're going to shoot for 80. And why are we only getting to that? Well, the high is right here, right? It's right in a bad spot. Let's change color on this bad boy, all right? The high is right here. It's not in a good spot at all. I mean, if you're wanting warmer temperatures and some rain. But it's in a great spot to stop the rain showers, right? Rain showers look like that. They got a little dot above them. Rain showers are going to be kept at bay, right? It's also in a good shot for very comfortable weather, but it will slowly increase, I would think, over this time frame. So here's Friday. It's showing upper 70s for us, all right? Let's see here if we can move this along. I got to get my buttons straight. All right, then we move along. What about Saturday? Well, Saturday morning starts off pretty nice, about 55. Let's zoom in on this shot so we can see a little closer, better for you guys. All right, so we still have the easterly wind. There's the easterly wind still coming in on Saturday. All right, that's 4 days from now. Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yep, Saturday. We'll call it that, right? 55 degrees that morning, it looks like. You'll be able to move things off nice, and it'll be a nice morning. Maybe some baseball tournaments still left over, and it shows only 70. You see that? It shows only 70. That means maybe some cloud cover potentially, but look at the 70s stretch all the way to here. But we are just continually getting this easterly flow, and it's winning the battle right now. So temperatures at or maybe slightly above or slightly below normal, it shows here. Then we get into Sunday. You're heading off to church Sunday morning. There you go, a comfy 52 degrees. By the time you leave church a little later, it's nice. It's 71, looking really good. 75, it shows for the high. Actual high number shows 74. Right? Doesn't show much. We still see kind of a flow coming this way, and we can see on the chart that a high is put in right there. Right there. You know, here's your isobars right here going around it. Okay, so nothing changing yet. Then let's see what happens on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday next week. All right, look. First off, I see a change in the wind flow right here on that Monday. Remember Monday we thought there was a chance for some rain coming up. And so look at what happens. You have an easterly and northerly flow up here, right? But then, boom, you get this turn here trying to come up and bring us some rain that day on Monday. All right. So Monday's high, just as nice. It's in the mid 70s, so comfy. Let's see what happens on Tuesday, though. Tuesday, we're back into the northerly flow. Here comes the high. Remember, we saw a second high on there as we looked at the charts. No rain, and we stay just comfortable. Now, I like these numbers. All these numbers are right at the norms, right? You're seeing a lot of mid to upper 70s as we get into June. We see a lot of that. Then we see some 80s popping up right about next Friday. There's some more next Saturday. Next Sunday, as still another high pressure system by next Sunday is in control, and you can see some easterlies. But for a short period in there, we're getting some. There you go, right there on. It was Friday, right? It said Monday there was a slight chance for rain, and Friday there was. And here's your Friday into Saturday, still showing a westerly wind here, and that rain trying to get itself up there, but it can't quite do it. All right. So then the high holds on control. Here we are for Sundays, warming up. What does it do to Monday? There we go. Woo! Now we're finally starting to warm up. Now we're talking low to mid 80s on the following Tuesday. Now we're talking June 7th, 8th, 9th before we start to really, really warm up. And there it is, 85 degrees by Wednesday, the June 10th. And now we're back to more summer-like feel, and that's closer to where your highs should be. Now, the month of June, generally, you start the month off with a high temperature of like 79 or 80. And by, June 11th on here, you're up to 83. We don't see that on here at all, do we? At the end, we start to see some of the warmth coming, but it's just not there right now. We're not seeing a lot of it on the charts and on the pictures. What do we see, though? Let's take a look at the quick in early here forecast at CG2's weather panel, and what we see is there is a chance of precipitation early on, and this is what it showed. 10Z, which was 6 o'clock this morning, showed a pretty good chance, and then it just showed some traces falling off this morning. So this is pretty good showing us, and then it shows us losing our ceilings by tomorrow, it looks like, on this. All right. That's what I'm seeing, at least on here. When we go through tomorrow, we have very little clouds overnight tonight. We start to pick up a few clouds in and out tomorrow. Sometimes we have a ceiling. Sometimes we don't have a ceiling during the day tomorrow. And it's showing a high temperature around 83 possibly tomorrow afternoon on this. And for our short range and your aviation pilots, go to CG2's website. It's C2G, actually, weather.com. All right, there you go. I did a commercial for somebody. He's a good friend. I love him a lot. He's a good guy. Like him. He's going to Antarctica. He's going to be one of the Antarctica buds. Huh? So here it is. May. It's got to be exciting. He's going to go to school. He's going to go down to Charleston. Going to see how things run for a couple days. Then he's going to head down there in August. I think probably is his time frame. All right, let's look at our Army team. Let's see what it looks like up near Rensselaer. Looks like some of the cameras are down. There we go. There's one showing up. Which one is this? This is the State Road 14 shot, and we are looking towards the north. Traffic looks like it's flowing nicely. What do we see here different from down in Lafayette? I see some blue sky, and I see some high clouds. These are higher clouds up here, so that's what I'm seeing looking towards the north. All right, let's see what we can see farther south. Nope, there's the construction. Oh, they changed it. Now the whole lane is gone, and they've moved it over to the right as we look at this, right? And this is looking south at the State Road 114 exit 114, right? All right, and then that's Rensselaer's exit there up on the bridge. That was looking to the south. Now here we are down to the 231 junction, and I see a muddled, kind of hazy look on the horizon there, right? But I don't see much for cloud cover that gives me any warm fuzzies here. Now we're looking back and going back towards Lafayette now. Remington here is showing up, but we're looking back to which way's the shadows going. All right, we got it. We are looking to the south here, and I can see the horizon, but they have zoomed in here. Usually this shot is not zoomed in. There we go. That's the one we were looking for. And what do we see? We can see there is some clouds down towards Lafayette. There are some down there, so it looks pretty good. It looks gloomy, kind of hazy. You know, it's like, what's going on? And they look to the south. Still no rain on any of these, right? There we go, 43, finally some rain. We go back a shot, and we go back up to State Road 18. Those doesn't look wet to me. Maybe a little dampish, right? But farther north, yeah, same thing. It just looks like the sun's being blocked by the clouds that are over us, and then we're getting some of the light rain down here on State Road 43. Now here's State Road 25, obviously raining harder, looking back towards 43. Plus, I lose my visibility. You can just barely see the tree line right about here. You can see I left it there, watch it disappear, and then right there you can just barely see the tree line, and that's 3 miles? So you got about 3 miles visibility and some light rain there. Now you go down a little farther south, State Road 26, still raining pretty good there, so the rain is on the pane. It's not raining hard, but remember on the road, when it starts raining, your visibility can be lower, being so close to the ground. There you go, State Road 38, just a gloomy, cloudy sky look over there and some rain coming down. And then down to 28, same thing, gloomy. Here's some good news. We're looking down here. We don't see any rain in the fields. That's some good news down by Frankfort. Looking back towards the metropolis of Frankfort and the horizon, we cannot see the big time sky-raising buildings that they have over there. I think they've got a 3 or 4 story building, I think, in town. We can't see those on the horizon at all. That was a joke for you in Frankfurt. Sorry, guys. Sorry, you're in Frankfurt. What you want me to say? Let's look out towards the west real quick. We got to get a count on our Fowler camera out there. Today's count is 0 again today. No cars on the road, and they have already cleared out any rain that they have had. And I see blue skies in places and some high clouds also on their horizon, all right, for them. Let's look back in a little closer. What's it look like in town? Well, it's raining on the west side of town up near the Walmart there, but the roads look like they're drying out, but you can just see a little bit of haze, that little bit of light rain you can see on there. You go down towards the airport, and they're still pointed at the ground there. What a waste of a camera shot. And then you've got North River Road there, which is 52 and 231 officially, looking off towards the southwest. Plenty of rain in that picture. And let's hit the mall real fast. Lots of traffic moving. Everybody's moving on a Tuesday. Now it's Wednesday morning. So that's what we're seeing, at least on that front around them. Okay, so going back to the satellite picture and the radar, here is the radar. We still see just hanging over Tippecanoe County, some rains there through that. The line is pretty distinct just north of town, not too far away, and then it moves off to the north. It's cleared off and looking pretty good. And then you can kind of almost see on the back wave, see how they kind of feel? Look all along right here. And you can just pick up a push to the southeast, right? So everything's going along to the northwest, and then there's this little push to the southeast, and then everything dries too along that front. It's I would say, hey, you're probably not picking it up because you don't look at these things all the time, but I'm looking at this and I see everything moving this way, and then right on the back edge here on the last shot, I see a move towards the southwest, which is what everything was moving. It shows everything moving like this right at the very end. So everything's going like this, and then there's a little turn kind of right in there. Right? And that's where we'll see our drying and everything drying out here in the next couple hours pretty quickly. And everything moving off and down towards a Cincinnati area and then western Ohio. There's a lot of rain in there today, it looks like. So they're going to continue with their northeasterly, well, we'll call it east-northeast trajectory, and then they'll probably do the same thing. Later in the day, it'll make a turn and do that and move it a little bit like it looks like it's starting to do on the backside of this right now. Okay, so that's for the rain. And then let's throw the satellite on top of that real quick. Let's go with visible real fast, see what we can see on that. There you go. So you can see there's little buildups, right? There's some bubbliness going on there in the clouds. You can see some bigger thunderstorms off towards western and central Ohio, but for Indiana, we're seeing a little bit of it's mostly just rain, right? But there's probably a lightning strike here or there. And I can go look at that real quick. Most of downstate is quieting out. There's cloud cover, but there's open skies and there's no rain down to the south. And then look at this. It's getting clearer and clearer as everything moves. And then look at right there. You can see the mid-clouds. See the mid-clouds right there moving through? And they do have an influence on what's there. So everything here starts to make a turn and goes this way, right? And you look farther up and you see the same influence right in through here. Everything's kind of going this way. And then, oh, here comes that mid-deck and it starts turning, okay? So that's what we're going to see as the morning goes on along the front there with that and what the clouds look like. Let's take a quick look at that lightning shot, and then I'm going to get out of here for the day after the mistake of the not checking the, what is this thing called? my microphone. I can't remember the word mic. All right, sorry. There he goes. And I apologize to anyone named Mike out there. All right, microphone. Let's go to the lightnings here and see if we can get some lightning charts up on there and see if it pops up. Oh, I got to get out of here. Sorry, guys. Bam. Talking through this thing right here like this. We go with lightning, and I should get it. There it is. Lightning maps. Dun, dun, dun. And then I have to wait, because the grandsons are up, starting to ruin all the internet usage, and there's not much of anything around Lafayette. No lightning strikes officially, and these are cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, but I'm sure maybe there was maybe something in the thunder. There was just enough bubbliness there to make me think that there could have been a lightning strike somewhere in there. But generally speaking, nothing. Nothing showing up. Nothing on the horizon, nothing in the forecast for lightning. Everything is over in Ohio right now. All right, that's it. We're going to call it a day. Back to the charts real quick, see if they've updated. It is 68 degrees now outside. Light rain, winds out of the east at 2 miles an hour. Going for a high somewhere around 80 to 84, depending on which set of charts you're looking at. If you're looking at the charts that are longer range, they show a little bit warmer. That would be the European model. Gets pretty warm today, and then tomorrow cools us off, but the other one does the opposite. It's a little cooler today and a little warmer tomorrow, but either way, there's not a lot of rain in the picture. Today is it, then nothing until like next Monday night into Tuesday, and that's very light. And then there's a very light precipitation for another week, right? It shows us with 1/4 of an inch of rain for 2 weeks, and then we get a 1/2 inch downpour whopping downpour like June 11th. So more than 2 weeks away for that. So if you've got plants outside, you're going to have to water them. We got all the crops in the ground. Most everybody does. Hopefully they're getting caught up on anything late while they still have some decent weather. After today's rain, it'll be good. We'll probably see the guys back out this afternoon finishing up. But there's not a lot of rain on the horizon to help those plants grow. We'll see how the season goes. That could be hurting. We've been very dry for a while now. So rain ends here pretty quickly in the next hour to 2 hours, and then you should be high and dry the rest of the day, working our way up into about the 80 to 84 range, depending on where you are. If you are in Rensselaer, you might see 86 today. 88 even. So it's going to get a little warmer there. They're already busting out into this. It lingers just for a couple hours. It's very light. We do need the rain. We don't have a lot on the horizon at all.